looking back, I noticed we had addressed the Boy Scout building more than one time, and I know that that's still in question with the VFW. And the bank at the time had said, this is what I want to talk about a little bit. We're running into a problem with these back taxes. People from out of the community and out of state are picking up all the back taxes on these buildings, and then they're letting them deteriorate to the point where they can't be salvaged. And some of this property has been negotiated between the city and the county and stuff like that, or between a possible purchaser or something. But we're going to continue to see this unless we can somehow make these people aware of the condition of the property that they're picking up the back taxes on, because what it does is ties our hands for 2 to 3 years on that particular piece of property. And of course they're picking them up because they're getting 2% per month on their money if somebody comes back in and reclaims it. And we have some pretty significant pieces of property that may go on tax sale this spring. And if so, we could be looking at, for instance, the house that was located on 13th and Hobbs, northeast of the bowling alley. That Boston okay. The back taxes were picked up by this lady called Yolanda Bankowska. And she's picking up back taxes all over our county and every place else. And we had a devil of a time telling her, if you picked up the back taxes and that ended up in your name, then you're responsible for that property. And it took us a while to get it through her head that she was going to have to pay for the demolition of that house. Okay, I don't know how we prevent this or how we can go about urging people not to do that, but then it takes it out of local government's hands as to what they can do with these properties. And like I said, it's happening everywhere, it's not just happening here. Then you end up with a piece of property that's...
Well, they get on the internet and find these things?
Or they just have somebody buy them. I mean, the shoe store downtown is Western Between Details and Giptique is one of those. It's now been picked up by a fellow from Denison that has paid the back taxes on it.
So the attorneys are out of that picture?
Well, they just aren't reclaimed, so we start the process all over, the 2.5-year process all over again. And meanwhile, that building is full of mold, and I mean, you know, it's a health hazard. No, you can't go in it anymore. And the roof is falling in, the light is all falling in on the floor. I mean, it's just...
Can we get the county health officer involved in that?
If we can get, yeah, if she wants to go in there. But, so then you're back to whose responsibility is it to get it torn down? And I guess apparently somebody has contacted this guy, Denison, and he's just adamant that, you know, he's not going to do anything with it. He just picked up the back taxes. Well, where did their responsibilities fall? Are you with me here? Can you see what's happening?
Well, you remember what happened in the motel?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it's bad enough to have 1 or 2 of these, but if we end up with 20 or 30 of them in a community, then it becomes a real problem. And maybe this is maybe there's a city ordinance that addresses that.
Should be without a repair. I don't know. Jack.
We don't have the authority to, the Planning and Zoning Commission really doesn't have the authority to do this. That has to be council action that addresses those properties. All we do is bring them to your attention when people bring them to ours. That's been our function in the past, but I mean, the zoning officer will be the one that will cite them, but it's really the council's responsibility to have the nuisance abatement ordinances in place to deal with those.
So when you find out if there's an ordinance on the obligated building, right?
And I have our original list of stuff, but maybe it's time that we go out, I mean, it's spring, maybe it's time we all go out and bring back another list like we did before to, you know, for everybody to address. And that's something, you know, the council should be doing all the time as well. But
do you remember the motel out there west? They couldn't figure out who the correct owner was, and so Colin sent a letter to all of them, let them sort it out.
And that ended up to be that
And it ended
strange
up
person
they-
from Webster City.
Carlson, yeah.
They got it tore down.
And the reason they did is because Chuck Latine was a sanitarian at that time, and he went out
Mhm.
and said, you either fix this, this, or this, or this, or you'll never run it as a motel again. And so we're running into the same problem because he owns the one in Early still. At one time, for you new folks, we just had a gathering session and did some goal setting and planning and put up a flip chart, and you can go back with, okay, this house has a hole in it, this one's got a hole in the roof, this is falling down, this is so-and-so, and made the list that, should be sent letters to the city. So, is that something you want to do again? Because we haven't done it for a while.
I think we should.
Okay. That gives us something to do, so we can meet again next
That's
month.
right.
So go out and critique your community, right? I mean, there are definitely health hazards out there, and, for the sake of the community, we need to address those, so.
And sometimes we get complacent, or I do. I mean, I drive by the place
And you see
many
it.
times that I
Yeah.
don't see it anymore. It's there, you just don't see it.
And we've said this before, what's really nice is if you take your digital camera, take a picture of it, because you forget too, but if you gotta have a photo of it and date the photo, then we know that, it's kind of like
And you've done that, when you came in with these pictures, it's like, oh my gosh, you realize.
it
how
really
bad
does look bad, right? I mean,
Uh-huh.
because we've made some major strides with Darrenfield and stuff, and once again, we want to make sure that our community is clean looking and inviting, because there's a big choice now as to where people want to live, and those people are our workforce, and that we need to make sure that we are the kind of community that they want to come to, they want to move into. We have some great things here, but if it's overcast by, oh my God, as you drive through the community, it's just a terrible mess, you don't want to do that, so.